guest, so I'm hoping he's going to be showing up soon, but whatever, regardless, we have to just plow through, and I need to do an introduction. So, hey, this is Andrea Benton and Alvaro de Almeida from the Born to Play Futsal TV show, and welcome to the Spanglish Sports World Network on Zingo TV, channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app from the app stores for iOS and Android devices. After you download the app, we would love it if you rated the app and left a comment. The app is free. Zingo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire and Fire TV sticks, Roku and Roku sticks, and smart TVs made from 2016 onwards. So before we continue, and this is not a paid promotion, I did just want to give a big shout out to Joma. They are long-term supporters of the amazing sport of futsal. So thank you very much to Joma for consistently supporting futsal around the world. And they have just always been there for lots of futsal upstarting clubs. And so thank you very much to Joma for that. All right, so today, I'm super excited about this, and I know Alvaro is too. So we are going to talk about everything futsal related with ACCS. So I'm going to introduce our guests, and I apologize in advance if I mess up your names because I am really bad with names. So we have Sami, let's see how I do this, Sellami. He is the president of the ACCS Futsal Club. And then we have Awais, Chaudry. He is head of international projects. So we're going to be talking everything futsal today, everything UEFA futsal, because ACCS has a huge futsal game coming up. But before we do, I always lead off with an icebreaker question to get everybody going and everybody warmed up. So today's icebreaker question is, what is the weirdest food you have ever eaten?
Ooh, I'm probably not that adventurous. I'll be honest with you. I do like to think I have an interest in eating a wide variety of food. I can't think of anything weird. You'll have to get back to me on that one. Sami, you go.
Okay. All right.
I don't know exactly what is it, but I think it's English food.
Oh, English food! Oh my goodness!
Everything.
Everything.
I'm gonna come back at you. I haven't tried it yet, but the weirdest thing that I've seen on a plate has to be snails. And you know what? I'm gonna put that out there.
Come on, that's very French. It's escargot.
Oh, escargot! I know
Escargot,
it's. The most I can do is look at a plate of it. I can't dig in.
I love it. Sorry, I love it.
Oh my god. Okay, Alvaro.
I'm sorry, Andrea.
What?
Pineapple pizza.
Oh my god. We keep going back to the pineapple pizza.
We need to go back to that. We need to talk. This is something very important. We need to talk about pineapple. Have you ever tried always? Have you ever tried that, guys? Pizza with pineapple?
Hawaiian special, right? On many
Yes.
pizza menus.
No,
Yes.
no. For us, for Brazilians, no, we don't have that. We have in our barbecue, pineapple in a barbecue. It's okay. But in a pizza, it's something different. I'm not saying it's not good. But it's weird. The question was weird.
Okay, fine. And mine is actually when I went to Paris, we had a carrot mousse. It was gross. It was in this like champagne flute, and it was just carrot mousse. It was just gross. It was the weirdest thing I've ever eaten. So, wow. All right. That was the icebreaker. I think we broke the ice on that one. So now, if Sami, if you could give us your background and how you got involved with the ACCS futsal club, that'd be amazing.
Okay, so first of all, I want to thank you for the invitation. I'm very happy to be with you tonight, and I hope to answer to all the questions people have about our club and the futsal in France. My background, I'm graduate from a business school in France, in Paris. I have background on theater. I play like as a comedian, and I write some plays. So when I was younger, I think, but now I'm only focused on the futsal. And I create ACCS in 2008. So 13 years ago, like social, involved in social things in France, in the suburb of Paris. And from 2014, we built elite team and start the project. And now, after 5 years of growing up the club, now we playing in the first division, French division, and in Champions League. So
Nice.
that's all.
Yeah, so
Okay,
I'm-
that's quite a lot.
Yeah, and that was, I think Sami probably summed it up very quickly because there's a lot of history. There's a lot of history. I think Sami was being quite humble about it, but to be honest, he really is, the brains behind the whole project and the driver from the start, to be honest. So definitely want to add that in.
Nice. That's nice to hear. That's nice to hear that in a conversation like that, someone is being humble and someone is no. Hold on. There's more here. Let's talk about that. This is nice. This is nice. And what about you, Awais? What can you tell us about your background?
Yeah, so I have, I would say, I've been involved in futsal as a player initially. Like many people, since like 2003, which I would say for a person who comes from a developing futsal country. I'm not from Brazil or Spain or Portugal where it's part of sports generally, but I'd say that's a pretty long time, since 2003. And of course that was as a player. And my passion for it has just skyrocketed since I started. I would say what I do in terms of my background, it's not actually related to futsal or sports as such. I actually come from an IT background, actually. But the passion and the drive is what's kind of taken me into various different futsal related projects, initiatives. And a lot of them in the early days were very kind of grassroots related, development related, because that's the level of what futsal was in the various places that I lived at the time. And of course, since since I've been obviously in France, I've been a lot more involved in the ACCS project as well. It's a massive project itself, and I think it's a very ambitious project, which Sami presented, and that's, I would say, all the experience that I've got from the grassroots and development level has kind of led me to being involved in a professional capacity with a professional futsal club, which is great.
And then if we add your experience and ACCS, I was reading a little bit about the history and about the way you guys built the team. When was the moment that this is for both of you? When was the moment that you decided, okay, this social project that we have been running here for kids, when was the time that you say there was a click? Okay, let's try to play elite. Let's build a team. Let's try to compete. And I'm not going to say at that point you decided to play UEFA the way you were playing right now, but when was the click to play the elite? Or was a natural pathway because you had that group of kids playing futsal and now you want to offer a little bit more for them? When was the click?
For me, it was like, the answer is for me or for Awais?
No, I was going to say, I think Sami's probably the best person to answer that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no problem. So for me, it was like, it was natural. We start to make social, and the way we make social, it was like we want to break the limit. We want to go up of stereotypes and to don't let people think that we can do only small things or local things. So we started on the social project, and after the futsal was like a symbol for us. So we say to the politician, to the people involved in French futsal that we can do something sorry, my English is sometimes difficult, but extraordinaire, we say in French. I know the word is the same in English, and you understand me.
Works in Portuguese as well. Works in Portuguese.
Not yet.
Extraordinary.
Soon. Extraordinary. So yes, and we want to show that we can do something impossible for people. So in 2014, we're starting to build a competitive team with only local players, and we send a message to all French futsal. We say to everybody that we will go in first division in 5 years. So be ready. People at the beginning was laughing about us, they are crazy. They are on five division and they are talking about to be on the first division in 5 years. So it was like a perfect way to go each season up and to be each season more competitive. But we want to do it to show that we can do something special. So it was like the ambition to be like to show to people that we can break the limit and there is no limit for us. If we believe in our project, in our dreams, we can do something crazy. And the strategy was to announce it. If we don't announce it, people will think that's okay, they have nice group of players and that's why they go up each season, etc., etc. But when you announce it, it's different because everybody it's like worrying about you and wants to see if you will have success or not. So it was like the access touch at this time, and we starting like this. So we were in the 5th division. We goes on the good level on the French National Cup because it was the only competition that all teams are involved. So it was for us the beginning to show the credibility of our project. And after this, we go up each season. We level up each season. At the 1st division, we won the champion, the French Cup. So it was like the big like novelty in France that everybody is starting to take in consideration our project. And at this time, we recruit a lot of French national team players in the 3rd division. It was like very important in France. People don't understand why they come in access, and they was thinking it was only about money or something like this. But at this time, we don't pay players more than in 1st division, or there is no money more than first French clubs division. So it was like something different, but people don't understand at the beginning. So it was this ambition, these things to show that with futsal, because futsal it's more like not more easy, but it's not the to get grew up growing up in futsal. It's more easy than in soccer, for example. And you don't need the same capital, the same money, the same finance of soccer, of this kind of professional sport in France. So it was like for me the futsal like in symbol because the everything was like accessible. So it was the reason that we chose futsal, to show the credibility of a project. So and step by step we grew up and now we are in 1st division and Champions League. But we announced that we will be the first French club in championships to do something. So it was in 4th division. I remember I make like an interview in the press, local press, Parisian press, and I said to them that we want to be the first French club to go to the Final Four. So at this time it was crazy. People don't believe like this kind of things could happen. So it was like for me a challenge, and I think thanks to the challenge we never give up and we continue to go to target our objective. So this declic was just for me was a lot of small things, but mainly was the opportunity to show, thanks to the futsal, that we can do something incredible and can do something like people thinks impossible. So we want to show that anything is impossible. Nothing is impossible. So this is more or less the way we work with the project of ACCS.
I think that sets the tone for all the kids that are in your social project. Like, we want to do something, we plan for that, and we are doing that. So yes, it's possible. Yes, we can do whatever we want as long as we work hard and do everything that we have to do. Thinking on the business aspect of that, correct me if I'm wrong, you were on Division 3 or 3rd division when you won the cup.
3rd division.
3rd, yeah. And then at that point, you had a team that you had a team, financially wise or economically wise, you were paying the same as Division 1, or all those players, they were Division 3 when you won the league? Because some clubs in Brazil, what we do in soccer and futsal is we want to grow up in a level. We prepare a Division 3 team with Division 2 players. So we top up, we pay a little bit more, we level up in salaries so they can play for us. And then we're going to move together. And then when we go to Division 1, we do the same. So that was the strategy, or you had Division 3 players playing at that time?
Not exactly. It was like the half of the team was players of the third division, but we recruit 5 players from first division. So it was like half and half. And this is the same strategy now. It's in champions. We have 5 players, top players, international players, and
mixing
all
with
the
yours.
Yeah, mixing with the local players, the French players. So the strategy, it's all time the same. And financially, I don't propose higher salaries from the first division at time. So when we come in first division, we're starting to propose to our French national players and players of the team better salaries than the other club, because we want to thank them to believe in the project 3 years ago. So it was like a reward for them. But at the beginning, we don't pay more players to come. And when the players come to ACCS, he's paying, but not only for playing futsal. He's paying to make social things with kids, etc., etc. So the strategy was like this, and we were competitive because we are a global project with a global strategy, with a communication strategy, political strategy, etc., etc. And I think these things. No club in France at this time have the same project, so we are more competitive thanks to this.
So it's very nice to hear that you are using the top guys to give back to the community and show everyone that yes, they are here, and all of them, they are here and they are involved in the social programs. I think this is correct me if I'm wrong, that feeling that yes, that social project, yes, they are for us. And then there's a mirror, so I can play there. Maybe I can play with those guys and then they can share that experience with us, the young players.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good strategy to belong to something. I think if I have a club around the corner, but they are only practicing here and they don't give back to the community, we don't create that bond between the club and the community around. So the way you were doing, I think that's the best way to do. Congrats for that.
And the first thing Ricardinho, the first thing Ricardinho do when he come, he goes to the academies. He make we have 7 academies in Paris, in the region of Paris. And the first things he does when he comes in August, he make a tower of all academies. It was like a symbol. He don't go to the company, to the sponsor. He's starting by the academies, and we present him to all children. It was the beginning, and after we starting to work on the professional team, etc., etc. So for us, it's very important.
I just want to add on to that. It's very important to have that connection as a club, with your local community, with your locality. And in fact, it's something that we would probably encourage other clubs to do in their futsal countries as well. It hasn't happened, to put very, very simply. How can if you are a player, for example, in a country that is not known for the sport, and you're trying to relate to clubs and players from countries where futsal is very common, it's very popular, how do you form that connection? That is something that's been missing for far too long. And I think what we're trying to do with this ACCS project is, we're trying to help the sport ultimately as well, for players to connect more with the sport, the existing players. There's for a very long time, has or have players had the opportunity to really connect with a club or a set of players the way they do in soccer, in football, or in basketball. And I think that's what we're trying to do our bit to change those dynamics in that process as well, not just domestically in France, but also outside of France as well.
Yeah, and I would actually add to that. I think you guys, the way you're doing it and just hearing this conversation, you're setting the bar for what should be happening internationally. Certainly in Canada, this does not exist. I can't really think of anything in the United States that exists. You know, the model that you're creating, it's you've given people like who are like Alvaro and I, so something so I can say to my players, or even can say to my own kid, hey, look, this is what you can do in the future, right? And for futsal, that doesn't exist. So it's great because you're really creating that pathway that I would say are certainly in Canada, our national federation hasn't done yet. So yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's amazing.
It was the purpose. We make the access like a duplicated project. So to show that everybody can do the same thing. This is not, you don't need something special to do it. Just believe on the project, make a good strategy, make an inclusive strategy. Don't be like we want only to be focused on the sport or something like this. No, uh, three 360 point of view. You know, you have to be like focus on all point that the society your city needs. Not only sport, like connection, link between people, to help people to get a job, to lot of things you have to include in your project, and you can do things, and money will come thanks to this. If you have a good project, beautiful project that make the marketing for you from your territory, politicians and companies will invest on you, and after this, you can bring Ricardinho. This is more or less like this.
So I think you summarized my next question, but I still want to ask that. The business model, how is this built to bring those guys? How can
Yeah,
you financially make that happen? Of course, you don't need to give all the tips and everything, but how was that possible? How could you make, not we're not bringing only Ricardinho. You have Ricardinho, you have Ortiz,
no,
Humberto was there, Coelho is there. So we have a lot of
Ricardinho is like it's
top.
only a symbol. When I speak about Ricardinho,
Mm.
it's the symbol of the best stars on the
Mhm.
futsal, and maybe the most expensive players on the futsal.
No, for
But
sure. But financially, the other guys, they add to that, to your,
yeah,
list of
yeah,
players, your paycheck. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Now the financial, the business model, it's not simple, but it's easy to understand. First of all, you need to create a good project, and my project is based on planification. If you plan your next step 3 years before or 4 years before, and you present this to politicians, for in France we work with politicians because
Okay.
they are the case of everything. So
Mhm.
when you plan something, you present your project to the politician guys, you show them that they have interest for people, for everybody, and 2 3 years after everything's passed like you presented, now you can start to go to get the money from politician subvention, we say in France, but you can have after this private money because companies working on the territories want to work with you because they know that you are a symbol of success and you are bringing a good image to the city and etc etc. So the business model is based on the planification first of all, and after this a mix of money. So the last step of this business model, it's the B2C money. So we have to sell shirt, we have to sell tickets, we have to say like subscribe to the website or to the to application. This is the last step, but this is not the first step. The first step is to bring investor. An investor comes if you have a good planification project. So I start with politician. I start with politician, and after I continue with private company, private investor, and with everything and a good project. Now we are on the TV from the game of Barcelona. The TV will broadcast our game, and thanks to this, we can go to bring a new private sponsors because
Sponsors.
we have figures. But before to have these figures, audience figures, etc., you need to starting with people who have the most interest or the more interest to invest to you in you. So in France, this is the politician, because politician needs to show that the city is going better, the image of the city is going better, because it helped them to bring big companies, to bring big projects. So this is like a positive circle. If you do something good and the press, the media talking good about you, about your project, about your social model, it's better from the politician, and the politician can bring money to you thanks to the network, etc., etc. So this is like you have to link everything, to link your project with the cities, with the strategy of a lot of financial actor, and this is my business model. And now the next step is to have a lot of independent money. So not depend of sponsors, not depends of politician, but depends of tickets, shirts, a lot of goods and product we can sell. But this is like this step, it's the last one. This is not the first one, because if you expect from this money to make a project, maybe you can't do nothing, because this is in the futsal not a big part of budget. So we have to continue to brand the project, to have a big brands, to have a good image. And thanks to this, after this, I think we will reach the B2C business. And thanks to the B2C business, we can have a finance business model, Finnish business model. I don't know if it's clear, but in my head, is it?
No, that was fantastic.
It was. I was thinking about the last step, because with COVID, I don't know how is the ticket selling in France right now. I don't think you have that source at this point, but you explain everything. I was thinking only to the last step, and you explain everything before that, which was a good answer. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Oh, always. How is the project? How are the projects abroad? Like, you're the international person responsible for international projects, and I heard that you have a few partnership with clubs around the world. So like in UK, you have one club that I know of. So how is that working? So if someone is listening to us and want to partner or get in touch with you, and how is that working?
So, so obviously this is a work in progress, and I would say everything that I had in mind, prior to COVID, obviously had to be adapted, or has had is to be adapted even more. To be honest, it's something that's been totally out of our hands. In theory, the whole idea was to build an ecosystem, a futsal ecosystem. That was the overarching idea. Now, what does that entail? Well, it's in our world, it's very different to soccer, football, where have multiple examples of clubs and leagues, and the world is really your oyster in terms of who, which type of, if you're a football or a soccer club, and who you want to connect with, which club shares your ambition, things like that. For us, it's a little bit different, because obviously in futsal we're a lot more limited. Now, historically, from what I've seen as well in all my years, I'm sure many people can share the same thing, is that futsal clubs have not actually taken the steps, earlier in the early days when it was necessary to really build the sport. I'm not talking about building their brand. I'm talking about building their sport, helping build the sport, expanding the message of futsal. And when when I kind of came on board with Sami as well, and I was really trying to find out more about this project. I wanted to find out that, do we have a very narrow vision of how we want to develop the sport and ultimately the ACCS brand, or do we have a much wider view of things? So with that in mind, that's what got me on board. And so when I was looking into this, the first port of call was, okay, I would love to build an ecosystem. What does that look like? What does that entail? So I thought, well, I could go to, the popular leagues in the world, the Russian Futsal League, the Iranian Futsal League, Spanish, Portuguese, Brazilian. But is that really going to benefit the sport? And the simple answer was probably not. Why? Because yes, we understood that with the investments that the club has made on the court and off the court, our name has become known overnight, literally. But what benefit would that bring? What benefit would that bring the sport by me partnering up with some of the bigger known clubs? It really wouldn't help the sport. So I thought, well, let's go back to the grassroots. Let's go to the many clubs all over the world that are investing time, effort. their own finance to help build their club and the sport that they love within their respective countries. So naturally, it made sense. I thought, well, France has developed a lot. We're still a developing futsal country, but I should be connecting our club with other like-minded developing clubs from developing futsal countries, and hence why we had we formed a partnership with Reading Royals futsal club in England. There are and also New York, Ecuador, in the US as well. We have a specific ambassador in Poland currently as well, and we've had a few other clubs as well who've shared, have had an interest in wanting to partner with us. I'll get to why that hasn't quite happened yet at the moment, but the whole idea was to help build that ecosystem with these like-minded clubs like New York, Ecuador, like Reading and others, and while we are developing as a club within France as well, to be that shoulder for them and for us as well, to help them develop as clubs as well. That's the whole idea. Now, of course, there's a lot of activity that you tend to plan on the back of this, which I'm trying to work out what to do, especially with where we've got restrictions with travel and things like that, because it plays a part. But in a nutshell, that was the starting point. Now, with everything that's kind of going on and certain limitations, I'm beginning to now look at what we can do moving forward as well. And again, there's a big question mark right now for that. But really, it was the main purpose was just to kind of build a futsal ecosystem, because one of the things which I would say futsal clubs in general, this is not on any specific club, is that we tend to have a very short-minded, short vision. We're concerned. Everybody wants to win a trophy, wants to win the championship of their country. It's normal, But what we've tended to see is that seems to be the only ambition. And for the sport to grow further, it needs to go beyond. The ambitions and goals need to go beyond that, and that's what we're trying to do. So even with our strategy, internationally, the whole purpose is the most important objective is we want to help grow the sport. That's first and foremost, and in that process, we are trying to take lead as a French futsal club coming from a developing futsal country to help do that as well. So for us, it's always about the sport, the futsal as a sport first, and then secondly, it's about access. That's been our general strategy.
Good. That's a good one. You mentioned the French Federation. Which role the French Federation is playing on the futsal development down in France? Like, I don't know if you have a local federation and they are attached to the French Federation. How is that work, and which role they're playing? Because I can see lots of information on their website, which is not common in all the other countries in the world. So it seems that at least they are exposing the sport. But behind the scenes, I don't know if you want to talk about this, if you can talk about this, but is French Federation helping to develop the sport? And which level are they helping?
Me?
Sami.
Yeah, so the French Federation is helping the sport.
That's good. That's
Nobody
good to hear.
can say that the French Federation is doing nothing. This is not true. The organization here in France, there is like 3 levels. There is the district level, league level, and national federation level. So each step they are going up each season. So, but sometimes we think that it's not going so fast we want, but it's going up each season, each year. There are big volunteers of the French Federation to make the futsal in the heart of this strategy. So this is a good thing, and we have good relation with the French Federation. Sometimes they help, sometimes they don't, but this is normal. But I think in the next 5 years, the French Federation could be one of the biggest federation for futsal, because they have the volunteers, they have the ambition to do this. They are happy. That's what's happened here in France with ACCS and with other clubs. So step by step, I think the French Federation will help and will improve the French futsal and will make the promotion of the futsal in Europe, because UEFA, it's I share a lot of conversation with Laurent Morel from the UEFA, and they are watching what's happening in France. So I think France could be one of the biggest countries of futsal in 5 or 10 years in Europe. So I think everything will be positive. But for me, because I'm maybe a little bit hurry, I want to do things quick. For me, it's not the not going so fast I want, but it's going up. So this is good.
Yeah, I'm asking this question because I was reading about 2-3 years ago. Someone told me that Lyon, the soccer team, would like to start a futsal program. This was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And I heard that they started something, maybe not adult project, maybe for young. I don't know where this project is right now. But I remember when I was reading that the French Federation said something that they had something about 25,000 players registered. And then now I found a number like 30,000, which means there was an increasement on numbers of players if you compare the numbers. Now, in real life, do we have more players playing futsal overall, not only where you work on your academies, but overall, do we have more players playing futsal, more like kids playing futsal?
Yeah, for sure. The figures of the French Federation, they are not in matching with the reality, because there is not yet competition for children. So nobody takes futsal license. And the second problem is that futsal license don't give you the rights to get the formation money. If some kids become a professional soccer players, if you get the license soccers, the federation pay you some fees because you train these kids.
You prepare that kid. Yeah.
Yeah, you prepare the kid.
But for futsal, you don't have that. If he was built on your system and then he goes to soccer, you don't get any.
So that's why the futsal club don't take the futsal license. But in fact, if you make studies, you will see that maybe 200, 300K of people are playing futsal in France now. In UNSS, this is like the schools leagues. There is already 250K of futsal license. So that means that if the federation puts competition for children, and if they give the rights from the futsal license to get the formation, the money from formation, I think you will pass from 30K to 300K in 1 year only. But for this, you need to give some, I don't know the English expression, but to give some bonus from this license, futsal license. From now, the futsal license, they don't give you any bonus. If you have academies, for example, you will pay maybe €30 to get the futsal license, but you don't have any competition and you don't have any bonus, so nobody do it. But there is, I think, a lot of practicants.
Well, yeah, if you have the school, correct me if I'm wrong, if you have the sport at the school level, you have pretty much everyone, at least on PE classes, physical education classes, they have a chance to play the sport. And if you have schools competition, for sure, you have a lot of kids.
In school competition, futsal is the first sport in France, in school competition. So this is to show like the real figures of French futsal. This is not exact, but I think the next 3-4 years you will get a big increase of futsal license, because federation, I think, will give the rights to everything and to promote the futsal. So let's see.
Oh, come on. Come on, you have the federation helping. You have the clubs that want. You have a success project like yourself, your project. You have the good scenario environment to prepare and get better futsal developer in France, for sure. Andrea, do you have something?
Sure. Okay, so I'm aware of the time. We only have, I'm the timekeeper. We only have, 10 minutes. Oh, yeah, no, 15 minutes left. So let's talk about your upcoming game, because that's really a big thing. We're all going to be watching it. So you guys are playing Barca. You play on February 19th at 2100 hours Spain time, right? So I did the math. That's 12 o'clock PST
12.
for us, Alvaro,
Yeah,
or
12 o'clock
3
here.
o'clock EST. So let's talk about the game. What are you guys expecting? How's it going to go?
So for us, this is already a final. We played the best team in Europe, and we are the worst teams in the classement, in the ranking. So this is the first against the last. So this is very interesting. For us, this position, it's very benefits for us because we have nothing to lose, and we go to Barcelona to test our project, to test our teams, and we go to play with all the chance. I think we can do something over there, but if not, this is not a problem for us or for the project. The situation is perfect for us, really, because we can lose or win. This is already like a big game, so and big promotion for us. So for me, I'm very quiet. I see the teams very quiet. I see the trainer, the coach very quiet. So everything is quiet. Everybody is quiet, and we will just go and see what's happened over there, and let's see.
So
Yep.
always bringing these guys, the big guys in, the big fishes, the big players in, and then now playing. Some of them are playing against Barcelona again with a different jersey right now, like Ricardinho or Cheese, pretty much. I know it's a question that I should be asking for them, but if you could represent them, how is that feeling like play against Barcelona? Did they mention something? Do you feel that it's quiet? As Sami said, it is quiet, but how is that like when you saw the draw, Barcelona? If I was there in the same room, I would look to those two guys and say, you were facing those guys again. What's the story?
Well, I'll tell you, my personal thought is when I saw that draw happen, I thought, I wish I was playing. I wish I was part of the ACCS team. So
For sure. It's a game that everybody wants to play. Come on.
Absolutely. You know the thing is with all the entire contingent. I'm talking about the French players, local players who are coming through, and as well as the the Ortizes and the Cocoeos and Ricardinho. These are individuals who are these are we see these players as just players. These are personalities. They have characters. They have feelings, and we sometimes forget that. We forget the human side. It's very easy to. Um, of course, there's going to be a sense of excitement. There's going to be a sense of any type of feeling you could think of as a human. But the thing is, what really kind of sets them apart is that the experience and the personality that they bring. Carlos Ortiz, he's the captain of the Spanish national team. That's a big responsibility on his shoulders that he's been carrying as it is. So for him, I would say that he would carry that level of professionalism into every game. Whether if it's Barcelona, whether if it's not Barcelona. And I would say the same about the others. The same with Ricardinho, the same with Bruno, the same with Abdus Samad, our club captain, and even some of the younger players, Nelson and some of the others. So it's I think the professionalism that they have, that they feel, and that's what's really exemplified when I look at the team. That level of professionalism, I think it's just it's kind of like having a poker face. You can't really tell as such, but I think that's what, for me, that's what I see. I see that profession. I can see, okay, they take every game seriously, and this is just the way they would see a French league match as well. So
for them, maybe, I think for sure they're going to bring all that professionalism as you mentioned, and this is another game. It's another game. It's a historical game, as Sami said.
Absolutely.
If you guys win, you made history. If you guys lose, you made history, because the first French team played like round of 16 in Champions League. So you have that. I think that's the way I understand that game. I don't know if you you see this different, but it's history being made. And if you can play that game, that's the best game to play for sure.
Absolutely, and yeah, you're right. And 100% correct. There will be some history being made with related to that game, no matter what. But yes, of course, we'd love to win. I'd love to see our team win. If we don't, then of course, for us, it's a level of experience that our players are picking up, and then of course, we are looking to then ensure that we win the French league, so that next season we can be even more prepared to go into the Champions League again. So yeah, as Sami mentioned earlier, it's we have nothing to lose, to be honest. It's in the game as such.
And there is something more, like for our players, for Ricardo, for Ortiz, for the other players, the one who played in Spain, to win with ACCS means so much. This is like for them, this is different pressure, because if they win, they are legend, because they win with interview, they win with the big Spanish club Inter Movistar. But if they win with ACCS, that means that they are not only players, they are like legends, because they can win and beat the big team with a small team. In fact, because we are a small team, not the players, not small players, but the team and the club. This is very small, very new, very very young, very French. This is not like this is not a big institution of the international futsal, but this is interesting to see how they can do and how we can do against this ogre of Barcelona, because it's interesting. It's interesting for the storytelling.
So yeah, I think helps a lot for the young guys. We're talking about young guys, but you have some national players. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce his name right, but Gala,
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he scored a very important goal in last French national games. It was a very good goal. And even those guys, when they are national players, but they look beside and they see the big players, the top guys playing with them, they're gonna, come on, I can play that game. Let's go together. Let's play this game. And again, always, I agree with you. That's a game to play.
Absolutely.
I wish I could play, but I can.
Oh,
For sure. Look, Andrea's laughing.
I'm laughing. A former player who never finishes. Yes. Okay, so can we just talk about the COVID protocols? Are they really stringent? I'm assuming when you guys go, you have to follow a lot of testing. And have the players already left yet? How are the COVID protocols?
This is very difficult to be on the best condition with the COVID protocols. We have to be tested. We have 3 or 4 times testing before to go, before to take planes. Over there, we have to be testing by the UEFA, and after to go back in France, we have to be testing. And this is like, and there is no people, no supporter, no nothing. So this is for us like a bad condition to prepare the game well. But they have the same condition over there. So I don't know if it will be against us or for us. We don't know. And maybe if no, this is not good to say it, but if there is some big players of Barcelona, we don't know.
But we were talking to Zico from Belgium, and they were playing in Croatia the round before. They lost their game 4-1, and he was telling, "Hey, Alvaro, I have this team here, and then my concern is my team is like, come on, small club, you're starting, same story. If I get there in Croatia and one of my players get tested positive,
that's it.
So yeah, I totally understand. If someone, of course, if you test positive, of course you cannot play, but it's gonna be a loss for your roster. And if you are on the, how can I say this in English? Underdog.
Underdog, yeah.
Underdog, okay,
side.
yeah.
Yep,
If you lose one top player, for example, is Coelho gonna play? I don't think he's gonna be able to play.
Red
He's
card.
out.
Yeah.
He was sent off last game. So yeah, it's a tough loss for your structure. But let's go. Let's see. It's going to be a very good
Let's
game
see.
to
Let's
watch.
see.
A very good
Yeah.
game to watch.
Yeah, the pressure, I think it's more for them because if they lose, this is not good because they have this ambition to win the champions each season. So let's see. Let's see.
Nice. All right, I got the 5-minute warning, which I totally love and appreciate. So we've got 5 minutes left. So what do we want to talk about? Alvaro, you must have something else. We got 5 minutes.
No, I do have.
Okay.
I would like to understand. I don't know if this is the right moment to ask those questions, but thinking on next season and considering that the project is going to keep rolling the way as is and going to grow, it doesn't matter what's happened on Friday. Of course, you have some players that are coming, or some players that you are interested to bring to make a better team, or always make a better team. I'm not going to ask by names because I think that's not the right moment to talk about this. But how are those conversations? So are we gonna, okay, you brought Ricardinho, I think only if you bring an alien, then you're gonna have a different information or a better information, but should we expect players on the same caliber as Ricardinho and Ortiz and all the other guys for the next season? Where are those conversations right now?
No, for the moment, we don't starting to think about the recruitment really because now we have a very competitive team. We have good players in each position. So now we are not thinking about it. I think at the end of the season, I will speak with every players to see, what mindset they are and what they want, etc., etc. And depend on this position, if we have to lose one or two players, if you have to reinforce the teams, there's a lot of things. There is a lot of parameters before to bring new players because now the team is very competitive. There is a very nice team spirit, and we don't want to change it. So let's see. For the moment, really, I don't think about it. Maybe to reinforce with a pivot, maybe because we need one, I think. But for the moment, it is not the case. And we bring Edu to finish the season with us because he was like he was a player of ACCS during 2 years, so he knows very well the club, the team. So it was more easy for us to bring a player for 4 months. But if it wasn't Edu, I don't think we bring another players because this team is very good. There is a good ambience, good relation between all players. So now the recruitment is not like from the past because from the past, each season we have to improve the team, we have to improve the project. Now we have a very good team, very good project. So let's see. We will talk about it with the coach, with Ricardo, with Ortiz, with the Abd Samad, with the big and the influence players to see what we do. But for the moment, we are not thinking about it.
Nice. Good to know. Always, we have 2 minutes left, around 2 minutes left. And Sami, is there anything else you would like to talk that we haven't asked you and you were prepared to answer and for any reason we haven't asked you? Is there something that you add to that?
No, not at all. No, thank you very much, for the opportunity to speak, to you guys and ultimately your audience. One of the things that we are working on quite diligently is trying to get some exposure, for the sport in English language content. I think what you guys are doing is great to help that process. And of course, we want to help support that as well with, telling, a bit about our story, but also what we intend to do to help our great sport develop further as well. So, just want to kind of say thanks for that. But if there's anything else that kind of comes to mind, maybe if we'll be open to a Q&A session for your audience as well. If they have a curious question that themselves want to ask, feel free to do that, and I'll be more on hand to answer those questions.
Yeah, that would actually be fantastic because that's actually what we got. We did get a bunch of people that were saying like, yeah, we'd love to do a live Q&A with you guys to get your feedback and just ask. I know the chat would always love to ask questions. Yeah. So anything we can do to address the chat would be awesome. So yeah, no, thank you again for this. I know for Alvaro and I, this was a total thrill. So and we will definitely be watching. We're actually going to watch on YouTube. I think that's is it going to be streaming through YouTube?
No.
No,
I don't think so. Yeah, it will be on the French L'équipe, la chaîne L'équipe in French TV,
Okay.
and on the website of the French Federation, FFF TV.
Okay.
So,
Website of the French Federation. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. So I will close. I have to do a final close, my extra. So, but then again, thank you very much for this conversation. It was amazing. And we're both watching on Friday. Alvaro, you've booked it in your schedule, right?
I'll be there.
Okay, cool.
12 o'clock. Come on.
12 o'clock our
Nobody
time.
want to practice soccer here. in
Nobody
Canada
wants to
at 12 o'clock.
practice.
Yeah, it's cool.
No. All right. So this show can be heard on the Spanglish World Radio Network. Please check out spanglishworld.ca for all the news and programming, Spanglish Sports World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it. Thank you very much to both of you for an amazing conversation. And yeah, we are definitely rooting for you on Friday.
Thank you very much.